if I turn a little bit, I have a desk and a desktop.
Mhm.
And the desktop has no mirror, has no microphone, and it has no sound, no mic, and no camera.
Mhm.
So I have a webcam.
Mhm.
The desktop screen is a big one. Has two USB ports on the side of it,
Mhm.
but I'm assuming that the webcam, if it were plugged in to those USB on the side of the screen,
Mhm.
that will not work it. Unless you tell me otherwise.
It actually will. If you plug in those USBs,
Yeah.
it should pick it up.
Oh.
There might be a setup once you do it, depending on the webcam you got, but it might just work immediately for you too.
Oh, that's interesting. It's a Logitech, and
Oh, they should be good. Logitech's a good company.
uh-huh. Well, I may putz around while you're going on with other things and see if it works. But I'm seeing you right now very well. So hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, if it does anything once you plug it in, let us know and we'll
Yes.
walk you through it, okay?
Yes, I'll give a cheer. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
How is welcome, Susie.
Come on in. Here's the nurse, so I'm gonna leave for a little bit.
Okay. See you later.
Hey, Lynn.
Yes.
Ken McCord here. I thought I had sent you an email, and maybe this is a subject for another time,
Mhm.
but Grace and I are about to change over from Comcast to Verizon.
Mhm.
As a result, we've had Comcast emails and Norton virus, which is included with that protection. It's been very good. The problem is Comcast is just too expensive for what we feel like we're getting. Not good value for money, as the English would say.
Right.
So we're switching to Verizon, and so we're going to lose the Norton per se. And I just wondered if there's any kind of security programs out there that you could recommend. And I think this might apply to all of us. But now Norton has a program where you can pay $30 a year, and which is not bad, you know. But we want to explore all options. And my next question would be, is that something that would, in your experience, that would be downloaded directly without having to play with a disc, which are hopefully things of the past? Anyway, just something to put on your calendar for another time, or if you want to talk about it now, that's fine too, but I don't want to bore these other people with my issues. So.
I'd be interested in it.
Well, the nice thing about all software these days, it no longer comes on CDs. So you never will have to put in a CD and load software on your computer ever again.
Yay!
Yay!
And one good thing about that, Lynn, is that then when updates are available, they will probably automatically come into your computer through the web rather than, like you say, having to load a disk.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of these companies like Office is now doing Office 365, where you pay a yearly subscription and you get the most current version of Office. You used to have to like buy, the 2000 or 2007 Windows, and then you're stuck with Microsoft Word from 2007 and all the updates, in the last 15 years, you don't get those features. So that is the nice thing about these platforms moving in that direction. The con is you don't have the one-time fee anymore. It's a yearly or a monthly subscription.
And it is quite healthy, I might add.
Yeah.
For them.
They're making a lot more money off us.
Yep.
They know that we rely on their products, and it's a catch-22 in a not kind way for us. But so that all those kind of companies are moving that direction if they haven't done so already. Antivirus software in general is pretty comparable to each other. Mahaffey and Norton are about the same. You can't do both of them. You have to pick one or the other.
Right. Yeah.
And I know there are other ones. Neither of them are Mac friendly. So I'm a Mac person, so I don't have that.
Yeah.
But when I did have a PC, I've had both of them. I'm sure there's a lot more out there. I know at one point I sent a list out, and there was a website with like the top 10, options, and there were all comparable. There were, everybody has pros and cons for all of them. There's no perfect, it's like Verizon and Comcast. Neither of them are great companies, but we're stuck with one or the other. So I'd say whatever good deal you find on any of those household antivirus software names, and I'll do some Googling for you and send another link out with the top recommended ones. But I usually Google and read customer reviews and see what people, say.
Well, in all fairness,
What?
in all fairness, the Norton has been very good. I've no problems, of course, but so we're forced to make a choice here, so that's why I brought it up. But thanks for the information.
Yeah, I say if you know Norton, stick with Norton because you're familiar with it, and you don't have to learn a whole new software program.
Okay. All right.
It's like Canon and Nike, you start with one and then you're in that world and you're like, well, I'm here now.
I think you meant to say Canon and Nikon, right?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you.
One's a shoe, one's a camera.
COVID brain.
And I have a question.
Yeah.
When you do install one of the ones like Norton, does that, or do you have to shut off whatever firewalls or things that Windows already has on there?
No, you want to keep basic, basic firewalls that Windows has, because they protect they protect a lot of the minimal, everybody knows these kind of bugs that are 20 years old. So they're all good things to keep. And whose phone is that? Oh, Connie. Yeah, I'd say if you're not talking, mute yourself, and then unmute yourself if you're talking, so we don't get weird background noise. So if you need help, let me know.
Excuse me.
We'll mute you too, Barb, in case you have more coughing fits. I hope you don't, though. Don't get sick. But what was I saying? What were we talking about? I lost my train of thoughts. Now you're all muted.
Turning off Windows antivirus stuff when we install another one.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. You want to keep everything from Windows because they're all saved to help you, but this is just an added protection to you. It's like we've talked about password managers, and the browsers have a built-in password manager, but you might pay for one because it's a little more secure than, the basic one that the browser has pre-installed, if that makes sense. Yeah. Getting a lot of staring faces at me.
Lynn,
Yes.
I have a question about Zoom.
Yes.
There seems to be so many different ways that you can get on.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when we come on to yours,
Mm-hmm.
we just click here.
Mm-hmm.
Other times you have to put a password in or a meeting ID. What dictates all of that or governs all that?
There's a lot of options because they know a lot of people do log in differently to do Zoom. I don't know if you'll be able to see my Zoom stuff or not. We'll try, see if you can see my Zoom. And if you don't, do you see this that I'm moving around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have dark mode. So this is why it's dark. Yours is probably white version of this. But if you download Zoom onto your computer, this is what you should see, something like this. It's probably white version. And if you click the blue, Zoom icon that looks like a hot water bottle or a camera icon,
Right.
you click that, this is what should open. And you can hit join
Right.
and type in the meeting ID number. So that's how I tend to do things. I usually, when somebody sends me that like massive, form that has like 10 different phone numbers
Mm-hmm.
and like 5 different links and things like that, I just tend to like grab the meeting ID number. And if there's a password, I grab the password and I'll click here, either type or copy and paste the meeting ID number in here. And then if there's a password, it will ask you for the password. And I do the same. I copy the password in or just paste it in. And
why
then,
sometimes you can just come in and no password or meeting ID?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Lynn. I'm trying to set up a Zoom meeting amongst some friends,
Mhm.
and when I click on your email, it just says click here to join meeting. I never even think about a password. Is that standard?
So what you can do, what I do is Zoom. So if you click up here, there's a home button, there's a chat button, there's a meeting section. And in the meeting section, if you link your Google Calendar or your iCalendar to your Zoom account, it will show you all of your upcoming meetings that you have. So this is showing me all of my meetings that I have. And if it's a Zoom meeting, like this is just a calendar meeting I have, it doesn't have a join button. But here, it won't say join now because,
After this.
Okay.
it's there.
Hey, Lynn.
Yes.
I don't know if you're looking at a screen. What I'm looking at is your background mountain scene. I'm not seeing any of the details you may be talking about.
So you don't see the black square here?
No, all I see is this beautiful scene of Mountain Lake.
Oh, so you didn't see this thing with the clock number on it or anything?
No.
I didn't. Now, maybe other people did. I didn't. That's why I brought it up.
Okay. So never mind. You can't, Zoom is funny. It doesn't let us show everything
Okay.
that,
Okay.
You
like-
gotta get, that scene was making me too relaxed. I started to do the nursing home routine.
let's see if I can find icons, screenshots, maybe. Let's see if I can find, no. Okay, well, you can, when you, there's a link that's like, click here to join meeting.
Right.
And when I send our stuff, I will embed that in the click here. So it automatically sends you to a browser, opens it in the browser, and then opens Zoom through the browser on your computer.
Okay.
So you're going from my email to a browser to the Zoom app, where I tend to just go through the Zoom meeting. And that's probably more tech jargon than you guys can handle, maybe. Hopefully followed that. So that's why it did that bypass type thing, because I do that. But if you're doing a general meeting, I'm trying to see if I can get a picture.
But your way is so much easier.
Yeah, not everybody thinks to do what I do.
Lynn, I like the stuff you send out, you know, every week and so on. See my, can you see this?
Tech tips.
And it's full of, see, it's got all your stuff in it.
Oh, that's
Does
nice.
one get on that mailing list? Because I never get those things.
You don't get my emails?
I do not.
What?
No, just the ones for these Zoom meetings after I register, but I get nothing else from you.
Do I have you in? I have a like list of 90 people I send this to. Do I not have you in here? Did I forget to? No, I didn't add Chuck. What?
Well, there.
I am sorry.
Can you add Chuck?
Yes.
Good.
Let me check and make sure I've got your right email before we leave.
Okay.
Is it CF Sharon at Comcast?
Shaner, Shaner.
Yes. Yes, I can't
Yeah.
talk today.
I see. That would be it.
Okay.
Lynn, from last week, I haven't gone through.
Chuck, I will forward you previous ones.
Thank
So
you very much.
I apologize.
No problem.
Dan, what were you
Yep.
saying?
What was your, and I have not been up to it, so I haven't gone through and listened to it. But give the takeaway, a couple of takeaways from last week's meeting. What did you do?
Yeah, last week's meeting that I forgot to send the right link out to everybody. Yeah. Takeaways we talked about were computer calendars. So instead of having a physical calendar, you know, to write down events on paper, you can use calendars on your computer or on your phone. And think a lot of times it's, you know, either Google
No, I'm gonna
Calendar
run it today.
or iCalendar or different, you know, digital calendars. So we learned how to add a meeting and, you know, do things like that. But I'm guessing, Dan, you don't need to use a calendar because you're not using a smartphone, which is where you use probably
I
calendars.
don't even have a dumb phone, but I make my own calendar. But I have a lot of things to do. I like to make my own calendar, but I don't. Is there a reason I should use the computer one?
No, it's just, you know, one more thing if you wanted to use it for.
I only keep
Like
one calendar.
I use it to keep all my, I think where we came from was we all were finding it frustrating because we lose Zoom meeting information all the time. Because there's like, you know, people are sending 20 a day and, you know, they get lost in your email and you can't find the right one. And do you click the link or the meeting ID or the password and what phone number do you call? You know, so I was suggesting that you could copy and paste some of those information into a note section of your calendar, your digital calendar, so you can go through that. And if you could see my Zoom app, you know, I could show you some of that, but
Lynn,
not working today. Yes.
are the computer and the iPhone calendars, do they cross over each other?
If
Or are they
you-
two separate?
Yeah, if you have a Mac, it's the same calendar. So they speak the same language. If you're a PC person,
No.
you
Okay.
can't get them to sync. That's what's the most frustrating thing about being a iPhone user with a PC. If you fit that, if you're in that category, you have the hardest time with technology. Things will just not work for you because
Okay.
companies don't like to work with each other. So they make it difficult for them, to do that. So I apologize. I've been there. I've helped my dad. It's not fun.
Speaking of that, I
Yeah.
have a desktop.
Yes.
Am I a dinosaur with a desktop?
No, you're not. A lot of people still have desktops. Yeah. Yeah. I still have a desktop here because it has better, it holds a lot more than a laptop does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My lap doesn't hold stuff well either. So
Yeah. Bob, how's your webcam coming?
Why the camera is working, but the microphone of it is not. So I have you on my right now. I'm seeing all of you on my laptop. But when I look around at my desktop screen, well, I see me, and so I don't. There's nothing of the microphone over there.
you,
So
Bob, you
I
sound
think.
good. You could give a sermon. You
Okay.
sound good.
Well, thank you very much. I'll not attempt that.
Yeah, because we see your other computer here in the meeting, but
Oh,
we don't see your camera from two different angles.
uh-huh.
So we'll have to play and see.
Well, I think I'm going to get an extension of my of the that comes from the new thing, the webcam I bought, and plug it into the tower.
Okay,
I think, rather than plugging it into the screen.
that might work.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I'll spend some time with you another time too.
Yes, not taking up the time of the folks here.
Because I
I'm
feel like
saying,
we could get it very easily for you.
all right, that'd be fine.
But
Nice to see everybody.
Good
yeah.
to see you.
I'll turn this off.
Sue, did you have a question?
No, I wanted to say I'm so thrilled that I seem to have a 10 o'clock alarm clock to wake up, but it looks like doing everything I can at least be here after 20 minutes. So every week I've not joined late, but I'll be joining late. So good to see everyone. Thank you.
It's good to see you too. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys, other questions?
Well, I think I heard, PC and iPhone don't mix.
Mm-hmm.
I have an iPad,
Mm-hmm.
a desk tower PC, and an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
I did get help switching from an Android phone to the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have the ability to receive email on all three. Only after hours with various, the two companies. Yeah, it was a real joy. But it seems as if when I'm deleting emails on one device, it doesn't necessarily disappear on the other devices. They don't always. So could that be the Apple window? No, it's
No.
Outlook for my.
Yeah, what's your email domain? Are you Outlook or Comcast, Verizon, Gmail?
I'm the overall system is Verizon,
Okay.
and FiOS. But I use the Microsoft Office Outlook. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
But your email is like Sue Kelly at Verizon.
No, it's my email is an msn.com, but I think it's actually a Gmail because I have Chrome. So we had to choose the two between the two. I don't, and someone helped me with that.
Yeah, I'd like to do some more research with you on which one, because there you would have two emails if you had a Gmail and
Right.
a MSN email. But both of them are cloud-based, so they should sync simultaneously. So I know Barbo had issues with this too, where if she deleted it here, because it's cloud-based, it's going to delete it on her phone and her computer at the same time, which is great for people like me who get hundreds of emails a day and can't manage going through two of them at once. You know, it would take me days to go through my emails, you know.
It's actually, Lynn, rather than use your time, I get maybe 10 emails a day. I've been unsubscribing to a lot. So I can live with it, but it was just a little bit surprising. But now that I know that that's something that just can happen, I'll just deal with it. It's not a biggie right now. When I get up to the thousands of emails a week, maybe I'll be asking you. But no.
My guess is, yeah, somehow your iPad or your phone isn't syncing with the, you know, computer or something. It all connects to the internet. So sometimes the computer goes out of whack. And like on my phone, on my iPad, I've got like 2 emails that I deleted months ago on my other device, but they're still there. And I tried to delete them, but like it says can't delete, emails deleted, but it still shows that. So why? I don't know. I just let it go. One of these days it will eventually figure itself out, but until then, it will sit there awkwardly. Yeah.
This is just about Facebook. I'm so glad occasionally I'll get the something will come up on my home page that I can share the 21-day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I have selections and I select different people, but not all of my friends come up under that. But at any rate, I'm glad we get them. I'm glad I can share it, but I'm wondering if there's something I need to do that when I have the opportunity to share, I can go to a whole list of friends.
Mm-hmm. So what you can do is go to your Facebook page. Let's go to the 21-day equity challenge.
Okay, I have that as a group.
Yes. So
Okay.
you say, you know, you're in here. You want to share what I posted in this group yesterday, right?
Well, I did.
Well,
I did share that with a number of friends.
I'm just saying, you know, pick something you want to share.
Okay.
And, you know, you would hit this share button.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are a couple options. You can share now with friends, and you can select a couple different friends. You could write a post and say, you know, this, you know, made me think of this and this and this. It really was powerful, or something like that. If you want to send it to one person, like you go, Karen Finley's really going to like this video. You can click this thing and then, you know, select Karen or whoever once you're in messages. Share to a group. Say, you know, this is the 21-day equity group, but I have, you know, a book study Facebook group. I think everybody there would like it too. So you could share it to a group that way. So if you're in another group like the 21-day equity, you could do that. Share to a page would be like for me to, as Lynn, to share something to Westminster's page. Pages are companies. So you guys wouldn't be needing to share to a page because you don't have that feature. You don't manage any pages. But and then share on a friend's timeline is, say, when you go to like type in Lynn George and you would see all of the things I post on Facebook, it would share on that timeline. So there are different etiquettes to Facebook. Facebook has a lot of etiquette situations. Over the years, they have just come out naturally for whatever reason. For things, I tend to private message people versus sharing them on a friend's timeline, because I don't want, private conversations happening publicly in front of everybody. So I tend to use Facebook Messenger specifically to groups, because I don't want to have real intimate private things out there.
Yeah.
But if you think all of my friends should see this or something, I would write a post. And then you're doing it through your page. You're not, having to do anything else. So I would stick with these two options.
So, okay, so if I'm on Facebook and if I want to write a post, that would be the same thing as selecting comments?
So you would write your post and it would post here and it would go to your Facebook timeline. Which
On my time.
You
Okay.
click on it would say Sue here, this is Lynn, this is mine. And it would then underneath here have all the things that you've posted. So I don't share things because I don't have time or energy to do it.
Yeah.
So it would show up here. So anybody who
Okay.
visits my page would see that.
Okay.
But if I posted it like yesterday, it would be in that news feed when you first go to Facebook.
Uh-huh.
This thing, it would show up here. So people that are friends with you would see it. So that's why I would say write a post, because it would show up in this massive feed that you would see.
Share with everybody.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
So
unless you want to do a private thing, like this is really sensitive or it's really political and I don't want to, get awkward comments from, people with, crazy views that, like, even though it's really not political, they're throwing it out of proportion. I would do it through send a message.
if I post it
Mhm.
and I get a person who comes in at a very opposite and perhaps angry angle,
Mhm.
and I want to reply to them, then I should go to Messenger, reply, and then delete the post?
So what you can do, it would post something that looks similar to this. So pretend this is my Facebook wall, and this is my comment. And Ann McNally, I want to talk to her about something. I could, if you want to, have a public conversation with somebody, you're like, other people might have the same thought, and I want to share why, if anyone who thinks this way, where I'm coming from. You could hit reply and reply to Ann, and then Ann would get notified that you replied to her, and you can say, whatever you want, and then enter, and it would post under here, like, you're welcome, or whatever you're saying.
And that would be in a public arena.
And that would be publicly, so that everyone who visits your news feed or goes to your page would see that comment. But if I go, I want to message her, I would click on her name and then I would hit this message button.
Oh,
And so if you hover over her name, you can message her and have a, you know, more private conversation. So if you prefer to go that route, you can. And if the, you know, if you get spammed and it's some inappropriate, like you've never met this person type of situation, you can click to the right of her comment. There's 3 dots.
mhm.
If you click that, you can hit remove comment or hide comment, or it might have different options because I'm
It
the
does,
moderator of this
yeah.
group. But you know, it would say delete, you know, mark,
Yeah.
block, report, that kind of stuff. So there are options there too.
Yeah, and one fluke about that, sometimes there's kind of what someone has posted nested into a post by the person who's sending the sending this to my wall. And I really would rather it just be eliminated. And I've gone to my selection of hide. Most of the time it works, but under this situation where there's kind of a post within a post, it will not hide. Is that just a fluke?
Well, is it on the news feed like this type of situation?
It's when I've selected my house, and I'm not sure if it, you know, it's necessarily at the top. It's once I've gone farther down,
Mm-hmm.
something will appear.
Sometimes there are ads. Facebook has been notorious about adding all these ads. Let's see if we can find one.
Well, this is identified as coming from someone I know.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'd have to see it to be able to tell you.
If it's really awful, I might contact you if that's okay.
Yeah.
This is a family member that I want to, you know, understand where that family member is, but in terms of thinking,
Mhm.
but it is very different than the way I would post most of the time.
Mhm.
So some things I can hide. I can, you know, message with her, but other things I can't. So if it's awful, can I call you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or take a picture of it and send it to me and I can go from there too.
Much better. Okay.
Either or, because it helps if I can see what it is and I can,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, we can, and you have the option. Another thing that I find helpful from time to time, there are some of my relatives that like, I feel like I have to be friends with them on Facebook, but I really don't want to see anything of theirs. You can go here because they like, my friend, you know, Becca, she clearly is posting too many baby pictures because she, you know, just had twins. So you could go up here to her thing and you could, you know, snooze Becca for 30 days so you don't see her anymore. You can unfollow so you stop seeing her post, but you're still friends with her. So
What will she know?
she still thinks you are friends, but you're just not getting her information anymore.
Oh.
So if you have people like that, what did you say, Dan?
Am I still your friend?
Yes, of course. And we don't need to be Facebook friends to prove we're friends. So does that help at all?
Absolutely. And that actually, Flickr, have you already covered, or would anyone be interested in how you form your own group of, say, just family members that you're sending posts to?
Do people want to see that? Okay. I'll go back to Facebook. Let's see if I haven't done that in so long. Okay. Let's see. Let's go here. So on the side of your news feed, you should see groups.
Yeah.
If you click on group, I don't know if you guys, does your Facebook look like this? Facebook asked me to switch to the new Facebook a few weeks ago. So it might look different because of that for you. So
Yours looks different.
So I apologize. I have the new Facebook. You might still be the old one.
Yeah.
So the new Facebook, it on the side here says create new group. And the new Facebook is drastically different than the current Facebook you guys probably are on. But theoretically, you click the groups and then you hit create group in some form. This will show you how many groups that you manage and groups that you're a part of. So that you can see if you go, I want to go down to, whatever group, church communicators or whatever, this will, get you there.
Yeah.
But you could create a group and you can call it, family or whatever.
Right.
And you can choose private or public. So a private group, you can never make it public. But a public group, you can send it to private. And you can make a public group like our 21-day equity thing, but you have to request permission to join. So for like church things, we will have it public, but we ask them to join the group. And we will ask them questions, do you abide by our code of conduct, like this and this and this. And then we let them join, and pretty much anyone who asked to join, we let them in. But private is, friends and that's it,
Right.
So, and then you can choose friends that you want to do it, and it will send an invite to them to join.
Okay. And if I mess it up, I can delete the group and just.
Yes. And then you just have two versions of whatever, and it doesn't hurt anything to have them.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys haven't switched to the new Facebook, this is a preview of what it's going to be turning into shortly. So there will either be a button at the top of your newsfeed that say, do you want to switch to the new Facebook, or do you want to keep using the old one? And then eventually at some point it will just automatically switch you over when they stop supporting the current version of Facebook.
Do you like the new one better?
Pros and cons to them. There's no perfect thing. Facebook keeps, changing things up. And as soon as you learn how to do something, they change it again on you. In some ways it's easier. In some ways it's a little more challenging. So pros and cons, like everything.
My family doesn't allow me to be on Facebook.
It's probably a good thing.
You think so too?
I wouldn't be on Facebook unless I did my job. I'm so tired of Facebook.
Yeah, it's a lot of dedicated time. I can spend 2 or 3 hours trying to sort out thoughts and write what I really want to say, and work on civility. And I think it's an investment in a way, but wow, I just got on 2 months ago.
I tend to be a tad wordy. I say too many things, and they think I'll say things I shouldn't say, maybe. Probably true.
What I tend to do is I have a Facebook, and if I want to see specific things, I'll go to someone's page. Like I'm like, my friend Becca just had twins, I want to go see the twins. Or, I have a friend who just had a preemie in the Netherlands and during COVID, and the baby's not doing well. So I want to see the most recent update, those kind of things. And I'll intentionally go to, you know, that person's thing. I don't endlessly scroll through mindless time suck of a news feed because
I joined about 3 years ago, I guess, I don't know. Mainly because I was getting fewer and fewer emails from my daughter. And she was living in Indiana. Now she's moved to California. And I realized and she told me I should look at Facebook. So when I did, I started seeing what's going on in her life. That's where she used to have MySpace. Remember that?
mm,
That I enjoyed that because, you know, she was going into a lot of detail. Now she's busier and doesn't have time, but I see what's going on. But then all our mutual acquaintances said, you know, let me be your friend too. And most of them, I thought, oh, these are mostly relatives. This is wonderful. I'll keep up with everybody. But at a certain point, it does take a lot of time. And I'm not posting anything, but they will tag me, you know, when I was in a group. So then it goes on my page. And that's fine, just leaving a few things. But I found myself, once they invited me to be a friend, and then of course Facebook says, oh, it's their birthday on Tuesday, be sure and, you know, wish them happy birthday. I don't want to do that. So on certain people that I never see anymore, but I care about them because they're relatives, I will send an email, and they love that because then I'll say a couple of paragraphs and they'll get back to me and make comments. So we'll connect without doing the messenger thing. But I wonder sometimes if I don't reply, are anyone's feelings hurt? I got one the other day. I have a dear, dear old friend back in Massachusetts, and I know her husband. I've met him many times. He wanted to be my friend, so I thought, okay, so I allowed him to be my friend. Now all his political stuff is out there. But now his mother, who's in assisted living and is like 90, wants to be my friend. I don't even know this woman, but there's her face all the time asking me to reply to the friend request. What do I do?
well, you know, that's up to you. My dad, you know, is in the same boat as you. He only goes on because he wants to see, you know, what my brother and I are doing, even though I'm not posting anything on Facebook at all. So, and he has, you know, told people, he's like, he's really involved in the community. He's, you know, Mr. Shake hands, kiss babies type person. And he tells everybody, he's like, I am friends with my wife and my kids, and that is it. If you ask me, I am not going to respond. And he's got like, you know, 500 unanswered friend requests because he hasn't even friended his mother, you know? So you could be like him, you know, and just say, I'm not doing it. Or you can be like, I guess I should, you know, do that type of thing. Or you could do what I just showed you, like you friend them and then you hide them. I'm friends with like over, you know, 1,100 people on Facebook. Well, I don't see that many. And a lot of them are like church people that I want to like tag in church photos, you know, when they're involved, because that helps boost the Facebook of the Westminster's page if you tag members. But like, I can't keep up with, you know, 1,000 people's lives. So yeah, so it really depends on what you want, you know, and feel comfortable doing. I don't think it's going to offend her, you know. Okay. If you I've had a couple times where I've like declined someone and like 3 months later they ask me again. If that happens, then I'm like, okay, fine. But you know, unless they're constantly asking you, you know, I'm like,
just ignore it.
Unless you feel uber guilty about it, you know. But I wouldn't, my guess is she might have even forgotten that she asked you.
Okay.
You know, I get a lot of that where I'm like, oh.
What about tweeting people, which is in the news all over the place, which is Facebook?
Mm-hmm. What about Twitter? Do you want me to show you Twitter?
Can I say no? My real answer is no. Don't be
I really hate Twitter. I am a middle-aged person at heart. That is, um,
That makes me feel better. I'm an excessively mature person.
Twitter is great if you want to keep up with the news. Other than that, there's not a whole. Twitter has this like cult following. If you find someone who likes Twitter, they are like deep dive into Twitter, and they don't really care about Facebook or Instagram, but they are in their little Twitter world, and they are happy in their little Twitter world. But the market of Twitter, if you look at the demographics, Facebook has a huge demographic of people. Twitter is this like odd niche of people. It's funny, but a lot of celebrities use Twitter to do things. So people who are really interested in, following celebrities will do Twitter. And my cousin is a journalist, and so Twitter is great for him because he's seeing constant, like, the first like news things are being posted on Twitter before they go, to the actual newspaper site. So if you're into like news information, Twitter's great. But other than that, it's worse than Facebook, in my opinion, because it's all text based. It's not even photos.
Lynn?
Yeah.
Well, our oldest son is a cartoonist.
Mm-hmm.
And when Twitter first came out, he got a Twitter account because he said, I'm tired of having to answer every fan's email. So
Yeah.
he could send out one tweet and hit 100 emails at once. I don't know if he's still using it, but
yeah, it's great for celebrities because it's a way for them to get on a fairly intimate level with fans, or build a relationship that fans need, but they really don't need. Like, celebrities don't care about what people think of them, but fans really want to feel like they know this person. Have you guys watched The Last Dance yet on Netflix with Michael Jordan and the 90s Chicago Bulls team?
I watched most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things I took away from that. Like, everybody wanted a piece of Michael Jordan, but like Michael Jordan didn't care anything about everyone else. Of course he doesn't, because. But anyway, I digress.
I like to write emails, actual documents, and I like to send letters. But as people get more involved in things such as Facebook, I'm concerned, is that going to go away where people aren't going to check their emails? And people always like to get a letter.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of out of fashion, but.
I don't think email will ever die at least in the next 5 to 10 years.
before we do.
My guess, I can't, the challenge thing about technology is you can't predict anything. I'm going to say something here, and like in 3 years, it's going to be different. Like the pandemic, we never thought that we'd be, quarantined this year, but here we are. So, I'll say something and it will bite me in the butt, in a year when email dies. But I think email is in the world of business. It's just there's different etiquette for different things. Like, email is more business and like information. Facebook and Twitter are more, personal and, this is my private life versus my business life. Or like more, I don't know. But then there are emails like you get family updates and things through email too. So I'm contradicting myself. But so I think there's just different etiquette for different things. Something my generation senses, if you work with a lot of folks in my generation, we will get back to you in a text like that. but it will take us a while to get back to email, and it will take us even longer to get back to you via social. Actually, social might be switched. It might be in the middle there. But so it's just I think that's the challenge right now. There's so much being thrown at us, and we feel like we have to do everything really well. And at some point there will be a breaking point, but I don't know at this point where the chips may fall in that breaking point.
How do you respond if you go to the mailbox and somebody sent you a letter?
I get really excited if I get snail mail.
Me too.
Yes,
Yeah, I like to send letters.
me too.
They have
I
a new-
still send thank you cards out. So that tells you I'm middle-aged at heart.
Mhm.
Sue
I
Kelly.
do actually have a question about something you just said, which makes it's been my tug of war on Facebook.
Mhm.
The people that I receive posts from on my homepage are kind of split between those who are sharing the niceties and the beauty and the little captures of their life, and those who are very politically minded. And I do want to stay in touch with everyone and understand their point of view and not necessarily agree,
Mhm.
but they're all together in this one big, so that's why I asked about groups. I'm not sure if I can segregate like the fun light stuff from the heavy stuff.
Unfortunately, groups aren't going to give you that feature, Sue.
They're not?
Unless the people are posting those comments in your group, which my
Okay.
guess they're just posting it on their Facebook walls. So unless they post that in your group, it's not going to work. It's not like you can divide it and be like, I want to see these posts from these people and these posts. Facebook's going to mix them no matter what.
On
But
the receiving end, you can't segregate them if you're the receiver.
yes. But
I
I am really proud of you for having friends on extreme ends of the spectrum, because you're seeing a diverse thing. A lot of people don't have that diversity, and that's one of the biggest issues in our world today, is everybody's in their little silo. So good for you, and good for you for not blocking everyone. That's what I love about, Facebook in some ways. If you have a diverse friend group, I have this, I'm blessed with that too. You can see a little bit and you can be like, oh, now I understand a little of why you think that.
Well, thank you, but that's kind of my mission on Facebook, is to hopefully be an example of a listener, not a angry finger point, blah, 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 whatever goes on with people. So I can't separate them, but in terms of etiquette and keeping what is in my homepage open, so that's something that everyone I'm friends with can see, but only if they choose to see it, right?
Yes.
And how do they choose that?
Well, most people don't know that they have the option of hiding things. So most people will get it regardless. The challenge is Facebook has an algorithm that determines, how much they're going to push your post. And the algorithm changes every day. And this is one of the reasons they're, in the news all the time and going to Congress and things like that, because, we can't keep up with it. And like for Westminster stuff, it's really annoying because like if people like it right away, it's going to get higher traction and more people are going to see it than if I post it and nobody comments or likes things, for an hour or two before that happens. Then it gets lower because they're like, oh, people don't want to see this because nobody's commenting or liking it. So let's boot it back to the back of the bus, so you see the things that, so I don't know where I'm going with this, but
well, thank you. I did not realize that when I go to the Westminster Facebook page, that if I'm a reader and do not react or respond with an emoji or a comment or anything, then I've made no communication at all, right? And it hasn't done what you're saying, given feedback that yes, we want to know about this.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So I tell my grandma, I'm like, you don't have to do anything. Just like everything from Westminster to help our ratings.
That's what grandmas are for.
Yes, yes, she's very good. And there are times she's like, I forgot to like something. I'm like, don't worry about it.
I had one big problem though. I was looking at Facebook on my phone and I was just scrolling the page down and I hit it in such a way that the emojis came up. And I think it was like a bad face or something. I said, oh no, I never respond to these things and I accidentally touched that. If I do that, is there a way to take it back or is it just too late?
Yeah, you can change it. Let's see. I do that all the time. And there are times that I go, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let's go back to Facebook. Okay, let's like Millsy's thing. So if you hover your cursor over this, you'll get different options. So if you've never seen this before, there's a like option, there's a love option. This is the newest one, it's care. They came out right after COVID. Ha, of course, wow, sad, and angry. So if you accidentally do angry, you can then hover over it again and go, I love this. You know, you can change it or you can just remove it entirely and click it again. So
thank you so much.
Yeah,
that's great.
There are times where people are angry at Westminster's live stream on Facebook, and I'm like, what did we do? Like, there's no comment of why this person thinks it's angry, but like, do I email them and check and see, like, are they really mad at something we said or did? Yeah. So
just a suggestion, it might be a boo-boo of selecting angry. And if they want your dialogue, there would be a comment, wouldn't there? So
unless I reach out to them going, hey, I saw you marked us as angry. Yeah. But sometimes I don't know the person, and I'll tell Pastor Don, like, hey, you might want to check with this person if you know them, but he doesn't tell me sometimes if he does, So
why would someone just hit angry and nothing else?
It's passive aggressive. It's a lot easier to be, like, oh, I don't want to explain why I'm angry at this, It's a lot easier to do that when you don't have to do it in person or to their face.
I have a problem. I think I've been misunderstanding what the emojis mean. If I see something that's really something that's terrible, and I think, oh yeah, I'm really angry that that's happening, I should select like, not angry.
It depends on how it's worded. Like,
okay.
If it's, like, do you have an example of one?
Okay. Without getting political, no.
Like, if it's, I just found out I had cancer, you have a variety of options. You can, do the care, you can do the, like, sad. You could be angry at that. I don't know.
Gotcha.
What if you just do
or
words?
Like shocked, a lot of times if you don't like know what to do, a comment would be better than anything. And a lot of those like big life moments, I tend to send an email or a text or I call the person, because if I comment, I'm going to get notified every single time somebody does that. And I don't want to get notified all 200 times that somebody says something. So I will reach out to them privately. It's like what Betty was saying with birthdays. I will text the person happy birthday because I want to do it offline. I want to have a conversation that Facebook doesn't really allow you to do anymore. And in a more private, intimate fashion, because I'm a private person.
You don't want to respond to a life moment with an emoji on Facebook.
I do it for babies because all my friends are having babies right now. It's just the phase of life I'm in.
No, I'm talking about, like you said, I have cancer or something like that. I
Yes,
mean,
yeah.
you need to use words.
Yes. For like babies, for weddings and things, like things that like they're getting, it's a day that they're getting all kinds of notifications. You don't want to be texting someone like an hour after they had a kid, that they have much more bigger things to do than, to check in on you, or, my wife died. Like, you're not going to want to communicate with them right away. You add them to a list of, I will check in with this person in a month or two when things are a little less chaotic for them that moment, where like you can hey, glad you had a baby. I'm sad your wife died, like that kind of big things. Because you're most likely the person they don't want to hear from immediately. I'm guessing. I could be wrong.
Lynn,
Yes.
I have a basic question on groups,
Yes.
or when you have your contacts on your phone or your
Yes.
computer.
Yes.
How do you make a group?
On your phone
Or laptop?
Not on Facebook.
Mm-mm.
Just are you an Android user or an iPhone user?
iPhone.
Okay, let me plug in my iPhone for you so you can see. Let's see if I have the right cable. Wrong cable. Bear with me. I finally remembered to start bringing the cables all to my laptop so I wouldn't have to go running around circles. Okay. So, I just realized we're over our time. So if folks want to dash out, I will not be offended.
And I'm going to leave because John Lewis's funeral is starting now on TV.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good
Okay.
to see you.
You
Okay.
too.
Bye-bye.
So,
Bye-bye.
see ya.
Bye. I have to leave too. Thank you.
Yes, good to see you all. So if you go to the contacts app, you should see a list of all your contacts, and yours is probably white because I put my phone in dark mode. So it might look a little different, but it should be laid out the same. At the top here, it should say groups, and it's going to tell you different groups. So it will have your if you have any groups in your emails, it will have those. I have a couple groups in that I've already created. You can see different things like family, Westminster staff, Chocolate World, things like that. Why can't I? It's not letting me add a group here. That's just people. Oh, maybe you have to do it on the computer. You have a PC, don't you? Yeah. I'm going to have to do some research for you.
Sorry.
Can we talk about this next week?
Sure.
I'll figure it out and let you know, because it's clearly not as easy as it wants it to be. I don't want to waste your time.
Okay.
Lynn, I'm going to go.
Okay, good to see you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, sorry, it's not as easy as I thought it would be.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Barbara. I'm assuming you're going to. Anyway, Chuck, did you want to look at 1Password?
Yeah, I still want to if you have time.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So, do you want to share your screen and we can look at that?
Let me,
Oh, let me stop the
all right,
recording.
let me do that, and then we'll go.